Before we even really get going in this video, the first thing, right out the gate, the first thing I want to convey to y'all is it is no longer an option for you to not take accountability for your own spending, for the decisions that you've made on your own as an adult. Now, we're talking about student loans, so it may be a little touchy subject. It may be a little dicey. You all may feel one way or another about me encouraging you all to take accountability for these student loans that has been taken out. I'm a person who's taken out student loans. I'm a relatively recent college graduate. I graduated in the spring of 2023. So I know what it's like to be dealing with student loans. I'm actively paying them back. It's worked into my budget, and I'm all the way on top of it. I encourage everyone to do the same. But the information that we're about to get in today is talking about how the Department of Government Efficiency, newly established by President-elect Donald Trump, headed by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, is really starting to dig into the Department of Education and Biden's SAVE plan, the SAVE, S-A-V-E, SAVE student loan forgiveness plan established by the Biden administration may be on the chopping block. So I'm about to show you guys a quick news clip from Fox News, and then we're going to get into some articles giving you guys a little bit more context about exactly what's going on.
President-elect Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, under the direction of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, isn't that just a great sentence in and of itself, is getting some advice on ways to cut spending. The nonprofit Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget suggests, boy, they're busy, suggests that $1.4 trillion can be saved just by reversing some of Biden's executive actions. Fox Business's Hillary Hahn is at the White House with more. Hillary.
Hi, Tammy. Well, the Department of Government Efficiency through Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have a goal of $2 trillion in cuts. So these ideas from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget pretty much come close to that with their estimate of $1.4 trillion. Here's ways that they say they could save money by reversing some of President Biden's executive actions. By reversing the student loan handout, they could save up to $550 billion. Reversing some healthcare executive actions, $385 billion. And reversing vehicle carbon emissions rules and SNAP food stamp program changes, that could save close to $300 billion. But ultimately, they need Congress to be on the same page. So Ramaswamy and Musk are going to Capitol Hill to meet with Republicans to try to get them on the same page, to work with them to help with their goal of cutting $2 trillion in federal spending.
Okay, so they did name a couple of other things besides student loans. We're not getting into that right now. Today's discussion is about student loans. So I'm about to go to this next article from CNBC, and it'll give you guys a little bit more context on exactly what's going on. That was a relatively vague just overview of what the Department of Government Efficiency is going to be looking to do, their goals. This is digging a little bit more into the student loan specific issue. So I'll read the first part of this article to you all. It says, President-elect Donald Trump has made his dislike for student loan debt relief clear. Experts say he will abandon or roll back many of the Biden administration's student loan efforts, which on the campaign trail he called vile and not even legal. Assuming the Trump administration abandons the U.S. Department of Education's new affordable repayment plan known as SAVE, borrowers enrolled in it will have to shift to a different repayment plan with significantly higher monthly payments. SAVE was supposed to cut in half monthly bills for millions of federal student loan borrowers. For those worried about SAVE going away, I think it probably will, said Betsy Mayotte, however you say her name, president of the Institute of Student Loan Advisors, a nonprofit that helps borrowers navigate the repayment of their debt. So essentially, like I said at the beginning, now that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are starting to really dig into the budget, it's abundantly clear that Trump's primary priority, his largest part, one of, if not the largest priorities, is reducing the national debt. I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with that. However, we are in a situation where the student loan handout from SAVE will be impacted, and the people who were probably in line to get that assistance may not get it anymore. Now, what I want to do for you guys is, because my perspective is unique because I'm a younger person actively out in the trenches going through everything that's going on in the United States of America. I want to offer you guys a different perspective on the SAVE plan. Now, I graduated college with about $15,000 of student loan debt. Roughly 2 years ago in the spring of 2023. My student loan monthly payment is relatively low. It's not an extreme amount that puts an extreme amount of stress on me, but it's because I took the time to educate myself before it was time for me to go to college. My entire senior year, I almost didn't even go to college because I was so scared of taking out student loans, and it seemed so predatory based off of the way that people talk about it online. Now, student loans themselves are not inherently bad. It's the behavior of the people that receive the loans. Now, as a student, a majority of the people who talk about student loans are largely out of touch online, where we get a majority of our information. These people are out of touch. People who are students, who have been students, that a majority of the time when you're taking out a large amount of student loans, if you're the typical college student who you go to school and receive financial aid and everything else that your schooling can't cover after financial aid is covered by some kind of loan, good and well that a majority of the time, the overwhelming majority of the time, y'all are in college receiving these refund checks. Y'all is tricking off these refund checks, acting like it's free money. Y'all are not out here actively applying to scholarships as you're in school, even before school, actively applying for scholarships. See, that's what I did. I come from a family where we were lower middle class. We didn't have it like that. So before it was time for me to go to college, I knew my only option to reducing this debt was getting as many scholarships as I can, and once I got in college, working as hard as I can to be actively paying this money for my schooling, and that's exactly what I did. I ended up starting what turned into a six-figure photography business while I was in school that helped me pay my way through school, and I had multiple scholarships before I got here. Now, a lot of people would call that luck. A lot of people would just say I'm extremely fortunate, but I was diligent in doing my research on this as a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid and took the measures to reduce my loans as much as I possibly could. Now, going back to the SAVE plan. The SAVE plan is not what people think it is. I saw a couple of videos on TikTok while I was researching this. I would have thrown them in here, but I really wasn't messing with them for real. But people are so heated, so mad about the SAVE plan potentially being on the chopping block that they on TikTok and Instagram crashing out. When in reality, and I knew this because as soon as the SAVE plan was announced, I got to researching like I always do. The SAVE plan is not tailored towards the average American. Like all other forms of government assistance and social services, the SAVE plan is for people in extreme scenarios whose life is already messed up. The SAVE plan is not for the average American who is dealing with student loans. The SAVE plan is not going to provide any form of assistance for the young person who's coming out of college who is in a tough situation because they either can't find work or they're just getting into an entry-level role and their earnings aren't as high. So that's the archetype of who some government assistance in this circumstance would be the most effective long-term for, would provide the largest long-term benefit. Now, in saying that, yes, the expectation when you get student loans is for you, and this is where so many people go wrong. People feel as though because they went through 4 years of undergrad, they're now entitled to a certain lifestyle, to certain luxury items that put them even further behind and start creating more debt on top of the existing debt that they have from their student loans, when what was supposed to happen was you were supposed to sacrifice for a couple of years, pay back the student loans as fast as you can, then move on. But coming back to this SAVE plan, it's not set up to have any kind of impact on the average American. And I'm about to prove it to you guys. Let's go into this next tab that I have open. Scroll back up because I was looking at it before this. So this is as of April 8th, 2024. This comes from whitehouse.gov. This is, I'm not going to read through the entire article. You guys can go read it for yourselves. But this essentially details who is directly impacted by the SAVE plan. Now, it has been quite a few people, and they have paid off quite a lot of debt, but it's only people in the most extreme circumstances. So, right here, canceling student debt for borrowers who entered repayment over 20 years ago. Mind you, a lot of people don't even know that what I'm about to say exists. When you go through your student loan exit counseling, right? And exit counseling is for any loans as well as really any loans, any subsidized or private loans that you have to go through what's called student loan exit counseling, right? In your exit counseling, they set you up on a 10-year plan. You have a couple of different repayment options. You have the basic repayment option, which I believe is 1% of your loan per month. You have the income-based, and the third one I believe is a set fee, but it starts lower in the first 5 years of your repayment period, and it gets higher in the later in the second 5 years. So you have a couple of different options to repay your student loans, and it's required for you to graduate to go through this student loan exit counseling. It is extreme. It is an extreme reach for them to be canceling student debt for people who have entered repayment over 20 years ago. These are people who have to be in complete financial ruin. It's extreme. The second group of people, canceling student debt for borrowers who entered in low financial value programs. This is essentially like people who needed government assistance. Again, you guys can read more in detail from the article directly. I'll have it linked in the description. And the third group is people who experience hardship paying back their loans. So, again, these are not groups that, I'm not going to say groups that don't need it, but this is for people who are the extreme of the demographic. And various, news sites, news outlets, people talking on TikTok would have you believe that this is something that is going to be extremely substantial. They're talking about this in the same way that they're talking about tariffs, and that is not realistic. The last point that I'm going to leave y'all with today is scaling this back from, having government officials involved, having the Department of Government Efficiency involved, just looking at this from a personal accountability point of view, just looking at this from the point of view of a responsible American citizen. No matter the amount of student loans that you personally took out, it is your responsibility to pay back money that you borrow, regardless of what it's for. We are not about to sit here. We're not about to take to the internet and expect people to absolve us of accountability of decisions that we made of a decision that we made, money that we borrowed, which was supposed to be an investment. If you're borrowing money from somebody, especially when you're borrowing money to invest, which you're really not supposed to do that in the first place, especially when you're borrowing money to invest. I'm not a believer in that student loans are necessarily a bad thing, but you have to understand what it comes with, and it comes with sacrifice. The issue is not the student loans themselves. I'm telling y'all this. I'm telling y'all, as a person, I work at a university. I work at a public university right now. I work at the university that I graduated from. I see this every day. I'm telling y'all, I have a qualified opinion on this. The issue is not necessarily the loans themselves. No, hot take, y'all may disagree with me. Student loans are not predatory because you know exactly what you're getting into beforehand. It is wholly possible for you to go to a community college for 2 years, take your prerequisites for your major, and then transfer to reduce the amount that you will be taking out in student loans. It is wholly possible for you to do what I did, actively apply for scholarships while you're in college and before college, and get in college and either get a job or start a business, which is what I did, to be able to help pay your way through college. The issue is not the loans themselves. The issue is the behavior after we get in possession of the loans. And honestly, like, is it messed up that the school system doesn't teach us about this? Yeah, it is. But it's 2024. It's getting ready to be 2025, y'all. We know these things. We know what student loans are. We're well aware of what is going on out in the world. And if you are not, it's your fault. With all of the free education that is available online, there is absolutely no reason why you should be walking into college with zero knowledge of what you're getting yourself into when it comes to student loans. There is absolutely no reason why you should be walking into college with no game plan on how you are going to pay for it. College, especially nowadays, especially in 2025, college is absolutely not a requirement for you to build any kind of wealth or be able to set yourself on a good path towards financial independence and financial freedom in your future. So again, the message I leave with you all today: personal accountability. And at this point, you know, none of the information that I cover with you all today is absolutely set in stone, but it's to be expected that the SAVE plan is going away. Student loan forgiveness is going to be, if not slowed down, all but eliminated in the name of reducing the national debt. So it is not an option anymore. You have to create a plan for your finances and execute on it. It is going to require some sacrifice. If you enjoyed today's topic and you need help organizing your finances, I want to invite you to work with me one-on-one by clicking the coaching link in the description of this video. Keep watching and I'll tell you why this coaching will be such a big benefit to you at an affordable price. If you're like me, nobody ever really talked to you about money growing up. My curiosity led me to start studying personal finance at 16 years old. And by 23 years old, I had finished college while minimizing my student loan and consumer debt, had hit my first $10,000 month as an entrepreneur, had won an international business pitch competition, had completed the Ramsey Solutions financial coaching program, and had already mentored many of my peers to financial success at a young age. You'll walk away from our session with a fresh and healthy view of your finances, as well as an action plan for financial success within the next 2 to 5 years of your life. So go ahead and click the coaching link in the description of the video, and I can't wait to speak to you on our first session.